And we're ready. Today we have a pretty cool challenge. The last two devlogs, they took 80 hours in total to create. This one is going to be made in 5. Now, of course, the majority of that time was creating a VR game from ground zero. But as much as I like making videos about game development, the important thing here is actually making the game. We're starting this week off with combat animations. Now, as shown in the last devlog, this being my first game trying to make animations in, the movement set took me 9 days to make. Now, if we want combat done in a week, this pace is impossible. We need to have an entire set of combat animations in a day. So I got to work. After going through a couple poses, I came across this image, which made me go, oh god, I just hit my face. Yes. 2 hours later, I had created an animation in record time, with a pose I was pretty happy with. But now it was time for something a little more fun. Some swishy, swooshy animations for attacking things. At first, I was struggling with how to start swinging the sword from the idle position, but then I remembered we don't have a neck, so why not start swinging under the head? After uploading devlog number 2, I spent an hour doing exactly that, and then polishing both our new animations, and we ended up with this. By the end of the day, I had an idle animation and 2 attack animations. I took Monday off since I hadn't done much with my mom recently, and there was an event for CODA, which stands for Children of Deaf Adults, of which I am one. Cool side note, since my first devlog, I've been manually captioning all my videos and she always complains about how bad the auto-generated captions are. The event showed off some pretty cool short films showing the perspective from disabled people and the struggles they go through in everyday life. Then I ended off the day eating a fish worth 11 gallons of milk or a sixth of my body weight in beef-flavored ramen noodles. It was a pretty good fish and I had a fun time hanging out with other deaf people who attended the event and chatting using the secret ability of telepathy all deaf people are born with, while waving our hands around to avoid suspicion, of course. But now it's Tuesday. I began by concepting how combat mechanics were gonna work. I'm taking huge inspiration from Dauntless for how much the combat will play out, and I love the way they do their combos. After a while, I landed on a system I think will work. First, we have a few sets of determined animation variations, and each time we attack within the time for stringing moves, it will progress through these sets. Eventually though, I realized, wait, that means I have to create a few animation variants for each pose to end pose. So I decided, in the spirit of keeping the scope down for the demo, to put aside these really cool weighted progression combat animation set scripts I had created and settle with the minimum amount of animations for stringing. Now, after a couple days of programming, of course, we have this cool combat build to give to everybody. So, everything's kind of broken right now. You can see in my schedule when everything seemed to be going smoothly. Then I ran into a problem and everything crashed and burned and I kind of lost some motivation. I was talking about it in the Discord server, link in the description, and JL Kennedy was like, hey, that should probably be an FSM. And I was like, what's an FSM? And he was like, a finite state machine. And I was like, that sounds cool, probably better than what I'm doing right now. So I learned about animation events and state machine behaviors, but that's for the next video since everything is still broken. And that brings us to our new segment, Story Time. Let's get into a bit of the stuff behind this awesome world without spoiling anything and give you an idea of the setting. Also, Philip has made all the art you're about to see, so if you want some of your own, you can commission him with the links down below. The world and progression is set around these floating islands. At the center of each lies a heartstone. They are the life-giving force behind these lands and hold them together. But overcome with greed and desire to rule, faction A with no name yet started harvesting these stones for their power. Fueling their armies of golems, they conquered and held the majority of islands. But with the lifeblood being drained, they are starting to crumble and die. Some fight to free their lands. Others believe this only perpetuates the problem and would rather submit than destroy everything in a vain attempt to fight an ever-growing impossible enemy. Now all but one stone lies under their grasp, guarded jealously by the avian species with no name yet, and the Heartstone's own monstrous creation. And that's all you get. I can't say much more without spoiling some of the storyline and lore, which you're gonna discover playing the game, because it's a story game and that's what you do. If you want to contribute to this project in any way, the Playtester Army is accepting new recruits with the combat build coming next week, I swear, after I fix all the broken code, as well as the dev team, which is looking for new members to enslave. I really hope to continue making games for you, so if you're feeling a little generous, maybe boost my ego a little bit by subscribing and giving the video a like. Now that I'm done begging for internet points, as always, I hope I made your day a little more awesome, and I'll see you dudes in the next video. My hand hurts. God, holding this microphone, it's really heavy. What'd I do for you guys?